Today on the Topping Show, Elon Musk saves Daily Wire and then purges those who censored them. Target donates to kid-friendly Pride events. Senator John Fetterman aides says that he wants to overturn the Second Amendment. U.S. Cardinal says that Americans should give up their guns. YouTube changes their policy around voter fraud coverage. Chase has some technical issues at the bank. Meta Facebook wants employees back in the office. Amazon to offer wireless to Prime members. And Boeing is indefinitely canceling their Starflight. All that and much, much more on the Topping Show. Thank you, everyone, for taking time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see the founder released twice today. Gotta say the guy's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me. That's the joke. If you could need a little assistance, reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Now, going on to the politics part of the podcast, you have Senator John Fetterman's aide revealing their hate for the Second Amendment, which, given political affiliations, not too surprised. Now, this is the senator's aide who went on a Tinder date, and they have, of course, there's an undercover reporter recording this person, and it astonishes me how many of these morons think a beautiful girl is going to go out with me and ask me questions directly, controversial questions about my job. I'm not going to be suspicious at all. Like, women don't, it's just like a beautiful woman randomly texting you. Those things don't happen unless you're Ryan Gosling. Or me. Well, no. But the odds are just basically zero. And yet these guys just again and again and again with these undercover reporters, they go, oh yeah, my luck is that good. When they don't have the luck or the fiscal foundation for it to actually be reality. Now, it's pretty quick, but let's listen to what this gullible gentleman says. So this is Senator John Fetterman, who he had a couple strokes and he could barely talk and comprehend people, but still the party supports him unquestionably because he just rubber stamps his vote. So this is aid.
Like red flag laws?
Which are de facto gun confiscation. You don't get your property. It's basically the erasure of the Fourth Amendment, I believe, in which your property is taken away and then you have to prove that, oh no, I'm competent, I deserve these guns. They have no evidence it's really being abused, especially by ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends. They want to disarm them. And there's no due process, which, again, every American used to believe in.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
He owns a lot of guns.
Does he own the guns that he's trying to ban?
Bullshit. If someone owns a lot of guns, I guarantee it's not just shotguns. The odds of that are basically zero.
Yeah. So what exactly will he try to ban?
The classic BS political term, assault weapon. Quite literally chosen because a pollster, someone who takes polls for a living, they said, what's the scariest term that your average American can't comprehend? Sniper rifle didn't sound intimidating. So we're not going to use that term. Assault rifle, that sounds scary. And they're black, and they look like the ones the military use, even though mechanically, one's full auto and one's semi-auto. Semi-auto means every time you pull the trigger, you get one shot. Pretty much have had that technology for hundreds of years. And Americans don't realize if you ban semi-autos, you're banning basically every gun manufactured. The alternatives are revolvers, which are not very popular at all these days. It's more of a extravagance or big debate in the gun community if it's a novelty. Many people appreciate that technology, but most people get a Glock 19 to get a semi-automatic. So you have revolvers, lever actions, which again, they're cool. I appreciate those. I think they're cool, but that's more of a novelty. Think of the cowboy movies, you lever action. You have your pump shotgun, which, okay, trap shooting, I guess. But if you ban guns, that's all that's left. So every gun you see in a movie basically is a semi-auto pistol, semi-auto rifle. And yeah, they're called assault weapons because it sounds scary. And if you ban that, you're banning everything.
Like assault weapons ban, he'd be okay with overturning the Second Amendment, probably.
He'd be okay with overturning the Second Amendment, probably. If that doesn't scare the absolute hell out of people, it should.
I
So he would be
Saying the quiet part out loud. Although some politicians now are saying they're saying it even more loudly than ever.
for like he would be for like completely just removing the Second
Not
Amendment, you
voting
think?
for it, right?
How dumb is this guy? He does not look in any way attractive enough for this female, but he's only just now thinking, "Oh wait, are you quoting me?" Like, how dumb is he? I think he might be starting to realize it now when he realizes, "Are you quoting me?" Because again, you're on a date apparently, so this came from Tinder. Do they really ask this specific of questions? How many dates do you go on where they get that granular into not even him, his boss's ideas? And it all seems bizarre. And of course, this guy, you might have to have like a knob. I'm trying to think of a nice way of saying a moron, a bumpkin of the day. But for him not to realize this is an actual undercover reporter, he's a pretty oblivious. But yeah, I'm not too surprised that Fetterman wants to get rid of the Second Amendment. Unfortunately, now there's some folks in the religious community who wants to follow suit as well. So you have a cardinal saying that Americans should voluntarily give up their guns. Which, if you're religious, I'll dive into greater detail, but that is the most asinine thing you could say, or ignorant. Choose whatever term you would like. Now, this is specifically from Cardinal Joseph Tobin from New Jersey, the totally not the land of corrupt and disgust. A lot of people, I'm sure, love living there. Now, he said, quote, I honestly believe it is the best thing we can do to change the culture of violence that threatens us today. Let's voluntarily set aside our guns in order to witness the truth. The only peace and never violence is the way to build a free society that live concertedly in our homes, our neighborhoods, our communities, and our nation and our world. He goes on to say, quote, it's true that we have a Second Amendment to right to bear arms, but rights always involve responsibilities. In this case, the responsibility to protect and innovate and secure public safety and good order, unquote. What? Which is the most moronic thing you could, well, for any American to say, but especially for someone of a religious faith-based. If you, again, ever read a history book, I know Americans are at an all-time low in terms of literacy and historic education. However, teachers still want more and more money. It doesn't go well. Now, the Vatican basically has a paramilitary. Now, the Vatican City has never technically had an independent armed forces, but it has always had a de facto military provided by the armed forces of the Holy See, including the Pontifical Swiss Army, Palatine Guard, Noble Guard, and Padmal Gendarmerie Corps. The Swiss Guard is responsible for the safety of the Pope, including the security of the Apostolic Palace. It's been a few years since I've been to Sunday school, so I'm butchering a couple of words. I apologize. And you've had many reporters, and as well as people just covering the situation, telling people that the Pope has the world's smallest army. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be protected. Quite the opposite. I think everyone should have the ability and the freedom to protect themselves and their family. And for this person to say, oh yeah, the right thing to do is just to, lay down your gun. You don't deserve the ability to defend yourself. When your leader basically has his own private army. And again, read a history book. I mean, the most obvious example being World War II, when the Jewish community gave up their guns. Now, they learned quickly, and now I'm proud to say that most Jewish schools have armed security guards, as every school should. It protects the kids, which should not be a political issue, in my opinion. Everyone should believe that. You guard your assets, you guard your people with better force than the bad guys have. And it just blows my mind that this person would be so ignorant. It's perhaps because he has his own security detail, as many of these anti-gunners do, where they think you don't deserve that right. Good, honest Americans having guns is not the problem here. If you look at the statistics on where the most people die from gun-related incidents, it's inner city gang on gang. If you remove the top 6 violent cities in the United States which have congested gang issues, the United States drops to basically the bottom in terms of murder rate in the globe. It's not honest people having guns to defend themselves and their family that's the issue here. And you've had multiple instances where bad guys go to a church, and thank God someone in the church had a concealed carry permit, or they just had a gun on them, and they stopped the bad guy in their tracks. Some priests actually do carry. And when I say carry, I mean they have a concealed weapon on them, partially because it's their job to protect their congregation. They were a shepherd to protect their herd, or whatever metaphor you want. If anything, they should have more protection at those areas of worship, in my opinion. But to say you don't have the right, that's just disgusting to say the least. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Cannot thank you enough. Also, really appreciate when you like, subscribe, and comment. Each one of those things helps grow and develop the channel. Appreciate the feedback. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers. Heck, tell anyone and everyone, tell your enemies. Remember, just stay safe and fight the good fight.